supposed to stand up anyway. You guys can sit down. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Seniors, you look great. It's so nice to have 145 of you here this morning. I sometimes wondered about that at points in the spring, so this is awesome. Good morning and welcome to Williston Northampton School's 182nd commencement exercises. A special welcome to parents, families, friends, goslings, students, faculty, trustees, chair of the board, John Hazen White Jr., and of course and especially the class of 2023. I also want to acknowledge our special guest, S.A. Fogelman, class of 2010, who traveled cross-country to speak here this morning. Thank you, S.A. There's more about her at the end of my remarks. There's a tradition we have, seniors. So before you get too settled, I want you to stand again and turn to face all of those behind you and show them the gratitude for all they've done to get you here today. So up you go, turn around, and we're going to applaud them. So still standing, seniors, let's face the faculty and show them the gratitude you have for all they've done. As I noted, seniors, at the dinner the other night, there are only a few times in your life when you are surrounded by so many people who have your back and who want to see you succeed, and this is one of those times. Today marks a somewhat conventional moment in your life journey, but you are far from a conventional class. The class of 2023 across this nation will forever be remembered as the OG COVID class. Since you began your 9th grade year in normal fashion, were sent home to living rooms and bedrooms, and was what, at the time, a novelty of Zoom classes. You returned as sophomores for a year restricted by extraordinary safety measures during a time of fear and isolation. You answered our call to reclaim the joy as juniors, and then you joined me and Mrs. Hill in our mantra this year to sustain the joy as seniors. Just recounting that makes my stomach uneasy, and I'm not going to list all the ways that the global pandemic disrupted and has forever changed our world, because you all know that litany already. Instead, as I was considering my remarks for this important moment, I turned to two of the biggest influencers in the world today, Taylor Swift and ChatGPT. Now, Mr. Korakowski's advisory, which is my adopted advisory, knows that I get into fierce daily debates with ChatGPT every morning over history and politics. So for today, I said, "Hey, Chat, what would Taylor Swift sing about comparing graduation from high school to a breakup?" Chat Taylor came up with full lyrics just like that, but I'll share just the chorus, which reads, "This graduation feels like a breakup song, saying goodbye, moving on, but staying strong. We'll take our lessons, the highs and the lows, and chase our dreams wherever life goes." Not bad, Chat Taylor. But you will never, ever, ever be real Taylor. Besides, I don't want to think of the departure today, class of 2023, as a breakup. You all sustained the joy and created connections through a year that challenged us with personal and institutional sorrows. You have not allowed yourself to be defined by the weight of the roulette wheel of history, as Shakespeare would say, the slings and sorrows of outrageous fortune, but instead, you have pursued your goals with optimism and determination and a certain "we got this" generational defining ethos. You, the 145 members of this undaunted senior class, have built lasting ties to Williston and to each other. I've seen these bonds form in those of you newest to the class, like Jenna Guglielmi, who donned goalie uniforms for not one, but two record-setting varsity teams, or Junior Poyser, recalling that when I first met this big, quiet kid from Toronto, he almost broke my hand with his grip, and now I just fist bump him. I see these bonds form every single time Catherine Kang makes a Wildest Cat announcement, or when Elsa talks about the unit circle, and I see community building when Siga explains her methods in aesthetic and ceramics, or when Riley Van Son easily moves from the ice to the choral music stage. I see community building in classrooms, Adirondack chair circles by the fire pits, coaches' talks with teams, cornhole games on the quad, literally everywhere I wander. You know, the graduation talks are supposed to always contain a pearl of wisdom, and they almost always seem to be reducible to a cliche of one sort or another. So in keeping with your expectations, but what I hope will be in a succinct fashion, I'm going to offer you just my one solitary piece of advice as you await your diplomas. That one piece of advice is this: think small. That's right, think small, not big. I could see some eye rolls of skepticism. Dom DiFilippo, maybe next year at Harvard you can take their most popular class, Positive Psychology 1504, and tell me if I'm wrong. Your generation hears all the time about big problems facing you: the climate crisis, non-renewable energy, AI, food insecurity, and on and on. So why would my last chance to offer you some grand-sounding advice that meets these enormous challenges instead be something so reductive to think small? Isn't this where I'm supposed to say something like, shoot for the stars and you may just get a piece of the moon? Or maybe, thinking small is just a rhetorical trick, since you've all heard that when you take care of the little things, the big things will follow? Well, call me hopelessly old-fashioned, but I believe that small gestures really do matter, and that they are the building blocks that create the essential bonds of community. You know, the idea that something small can have an oversized impact is a pretty familiar one. Many of you might recall the Jeff Goldblum character in Jurassic Park explaining chaos theory about the butterfly effect. That's the one that says an atmospheric disturbance caused by a butterfly in one hemisphere can lead to a cyclone in another. I'm not a physicist, but I like to read. And in a compelling book I recently read called The Culture Code by Daniel Coyle, the author explores how important connections get made in iconic groups like SEAL Team 6, giant call centers like those in India, or even in stand-up comedy troupes. One of the experiments mentioned in the book comes out of Harvard Business School, and it's quite simple. The control group goes like this. You're standing in the rain at a train station, and a stranger politely says, "Can I borrow your cell phone?" The experimental group is the same thing except for 6 additional words. "I'm sorry about the rain. Can I borrow your cell phone?" In the second version, where the person creates a seemingly insignificant bond by uttering 6 friendly words, the response rate to the question rose by over 400%. The idea that just a handful of words or slight gestures can send a powerful signal about building connections across real or perceived differences turns out to be true. So next year, whether it's Owen Dietrich offering a helping hand backstage, or Dylan Hallen showing his trademark empathy to somebody he meets at McAllister, or Pearson Squires offering to buy a stranger a cup of coffee at NC State, keep doing the little things. You don't have to start a club or run for class president or captain a dance ensemble. Those are all worthy goals. But I would urge you to embrace a philosophy of small gestures, class of 23, since you will be the ones who strengthen human connections, bridge divides, and build positive culture. Oh, and one last thing. As you know, I don't believe Chat Taylor's song that graduation is like a breakup. And even though one of Real Taylor's hits was, "We are never, ever, ever getting back together," to you, the class of 23, I say, graduating is not a breakup. Williston expects you to get back together at homecomings, events, and reunions. Your lasting connections to Williston and to each other is my segue to introduce S.A. Fogelman, class of 2010. I'm delighted that S.A. agreed to join us today for this celebration since she has a close connection to the McCullough family, and since Mr. McCullough, as most of you learned last night, if you didn't know it already, will also be graduating from Williston this year after 24 years of incredible service as the school's chief financial officer. S.A., after graduating from Williston, attended the United States Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland, where she was a Division I lacrosse player, and she learned to eat her meals in roughly 12 to 18 minutes. You may be sharing some of your stories about that plebe year essay, but even if you don't, I bet she could tell us the scores of every Army football game during her time there. After Annapolis, S.A. received her medical degree from Georgetown Medical School, and she now serves as a commissioned officer and orthopedic surgeon at Naval Medical Center San Diego. Sarah embodies a life of service, dedication, and commitment, and it seems particularly appropriate that on this Memorial Day weekend, we welcome back to Williston Dr. Lieutenant S.A. Fogelman.
I probably shouldn't have touched that. Good morning, class of 2023. I have to start by saying that I am truly honored to be here as your commencement speaker today. And I really have no idea how this happened. Back in the fall, I got invited to an alumni event in San Diego, where I live now. And up until this point, I had not really been very involved as a Williston alumna. I had only been back to campus one time since I had graduated, and that was to go to my sister's graduation in 2016. And so she was actually out visiting me in San Diego when this alumni event was happening. And we decided, okay, fine, we'll go together. And at the event, we saw a few familiar faces and caught up with a few people we knew. We met some people we had not overlapped with at Williston. And in accordance with the obligatory tenet of all alumni events, we learned a little bit about the latest fundraising campaign at Williston here, the Williston Builds campaign, and how it was transforming and modernizing the campus to keep up with the needs of students in the school. We looked at pictures of the new dorms, and we shared a sense of nostalgia about the way that things used to be. And then about 12 seconds later, it was replaced by a sense of outrage, entitled outrage. Mostly thinking, wow, this new quad is amazing. I can't believe they have fire pits in front of the dorms. Okay, when we had fire in front of MEM, the East Hampton Police Department was called, and the dean on duty showed up. I'm guessing that this is a pretty typical reaction because Rachel Goldberg from the alumni office, at just the right time, softened the blow with an amazing little keychain that says Williston Builds. So we ended everything on a happy note. And more importantly, I went to a school function. There was photographic evidence. It appeared in the bulletin, and I got to go back to being alumna incognito and return to hiding for several more years. And then one day, about a week later, I looked down at my phone, and I've got this missed call from a 413 number. And my phone said, maybe Bob Hill III. Okay, yeah, maybe it's Taylor Swift. Can we all just acknowledge the audacity of a phone to flex the specifics of a Roman numeral suffix and then be like, maybe? Just in case this isn't the head of your former school, don't be mad, I did say maybe. So naturally, I was already rattled. I figured, okay, there are a few plausible explanations for this. Number one, he probably called the wrong number. And by that I mean he probably meant to call my sister. She was really the good alumni. She had been a proctor while she was here. She graduated cum laude, and she had been featured in the bulletin several times as being very involved. But when I looked further, it appeared that maybe Bob Hill III had left a voicemail, and it turned out, one, he was definitely Bob Hill III, and he used my name, so that first theory went out the window. My next thought was, okay, this is probably a new tactic of very aggressive follow-up for the fundraising campaign. I mean, think about it. What unsuspecting alumni is going to answer a call from the head of school and then get hustled for 20 bucks. Like, you will never see it coming. It's genius. And good luck telling the head of school that you can't donate because your Amazon addiction does not allow it. Probably not super effective from an opportunity cost standpoint, but an absolute power play. So if Mr. Hill had actually called me on purpose and it was not about donating, the only other plausible explanation I could think of was, obviously I was in trouble. It turns out it really doesn't matter if you're supposedly an adult. When you get a call from the head of school, that's immediately where your head goes. Does he have the jurisdiction to make me have Saturday night study hall if I've already graduated? Wait, did I even already graduate? And then it hit me. I had attended Williston my junior and senior years, and despite what was clearly laid out in the graduation requirements, I did not take a religion or philosophy course. So Mr. Hill was probably calling to inform me that I had not actually graduated, and I would need to come back and surrender my diploma. And my Williston Builds keychain, just to be clear. So at this point, I needed to talk myself off the ledge. I had spent a few minutes reminding myself that even if he wanted me to give back my high school diploma, I had already graduated from undergraduate and medical school, and it was at least somewhat unlikely that they would both make me give back my degrees. In the end, I guess I was half right. When we finally talked, he did invite me to come back to campus and to come to graduation again. But thankfully, he did not mention any makeup classes. And now that I'm here, there are no takebacks. Mr. Hill told me that the theme of this year for you guys was service, and he hoped that I could speak to all of you today about that topic. I was truly surprised and humbled by the invitation, and I can't imagine how many people had to say no before I ended up here in front of you. But once again, I want to say thank you to Mr. Hill and also to the class of 2023 for letting me be here to share with you in this very special day. In keeping with some of the reflections from your class officers at Baccalaureate last night, I just wanted to say thank you to some of the people that are up here on the stage and the faculty next to us that helped guide and shape me in my development. Miss B and Miss McDowell were my dorm parents when I was here in Krusty Mem. Mr. Gunn, I don't know if I see him, but he really taught me to be a critical thinker. Jen Fulcher made me an All-American lacrosse player, and Miss Talbot helped me build up to doing my first pull-up. Also, Mr. Whipple taught me calculus, which was very useful. Finally, I want to take a moment to share my gratitude for Mr. and Mrs. McCullough. While most of you know them as teacher and coach and proprietor of literally everything that the light touches around here, I knew them very differently because they were the parents of one of my best friends while I was at Williston. They were my home away from home. They were unfailingly kind and loving and supportive, and I will always see them as family. The students, parents, and faculty that have had the chance to know the McCulloughs know throughout the years that they are exactly the kind of family that is essential to making Williston the incredible community that it is today. I'm thrilled for them as they get ready to embark on their next adventure, but they will certainly be missed around here. Thank you. So, 2023, back to you. I'll talk a little bit about kind of my journey. My journey of service started right here in these chairs that you're sitting in, except we did not have a tent when I graduated. Shortly after I was sitting in these very seats at graduation, about 5 weeks later, I reported to the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland. When I showed up, I was a 17-year-old hotshot that couldn't wait to play lacrosse in college. I was lukewarm at best on all of the military stuff. Needless to say, there were a few growing pains. But what gets you into the door isn't necessarily what keeps you there. And that was an important lesson that I learned. While I was initially resistant and had trouble adjusting, eventually I had a transformation, and I started to see that the team environment of working together to be excellent and solve problems was something that was pretty similar between sports and the military. And I started seeing being a military officer as an analog to being a team captain. I didn't have any way of knowing it at the time, but my choice to go to the Naval Academy triggered a series of events for me, one setting after another that I found myself in, where I was challenged to grow and raise the bar and develop my identity, both personally and professionally. One of these moments for me came in the summer before starting my senior year. Since I was hoping to apply to medical school, I spent a month shadowing military doctors at our country's largest military hospital. It was 2013. There was still active conflict in the Middle East, and when service members got wounded, they would get medevaced, first to Germany and then to the United States. They would end up getting sent to the Mid-Atlantic region and end up at this military hospital to get treatment. And as I followed around the military doctors, I watched closely, and in my second or third week, I found myself tagging along with an orthopedic surgeon. It was busy, and not in a good way. There were a lot of soldiers and Marines that had sustained blast wounds from roadside bombs and improvised explosive devices, and they would come back missing limbs. Most of them would have to go to the operating room on a near daily basis to get their wounds washed out and keep infection at bay while they started to heal. I got to be there and got to be a part of it. It was striking. There were 18 and 19-year-olds, the same age as many of you, who were double and triple amputees. And every day, we would take them back to the operating room and tend to the mess that was left behind from their injuries. Surgery was not glamorous like it was on TV. It was not Grey's Anatomy. It wasn't fun, it wasn't novel or exciting, but it was just what needed to be done to take care of these kids who had almost died serving their country. That's when I had a moment of clarity. When your vision finds your purpose, you start to feel things align in a way that just makes sense. And I thought to myself, I think this is where I'm supposed to be. When your why focuses on serving and helping others, and you truly believe in it, it serves as a guiding light that can't be extinguished by circumstance, obstacles, or adversity. You are much more likely to make it through tough times when you feel like others need you and they're relying on you. Flash forward. I was lucky enough to be one of the 10 people in my graduating class to go to medical school. I started my first year with my eyes wide open, full of excitement and hope. They say that medical school is like drinking from a fire hose, and it was worse than that. By the end of my first year, my eyes were wide open from lack of sleep and anxiety and the fear of failure. The pressure to succeed and do well would literally keep me up at night. As it turns out, you learn in medical school that learning is really just a process of priming your brain to see the same material multiple times and then letting the memories consolidate. And that memory consolidation happens when you sleep. So if you don't sleep, you don't learn. The more that I worried, the more that I studied, and the less that I slept, and the less that I retained, and the more frantic I was about studying. It was a bad cycle. This caught up to me at the end of the year, and I did exactly what I had been trying to desperately avoid. I failed. And failing in medical school is no joke. It's high stakes. I had to repeat my entire first year. Not a class, not a semester, literally the entire year. It was my first real experience with failure at 22 years old. It felt catastrophic and unsurvivable because I saw myself as a high achiever and someone who's scrappy enough to make success in tough scenarios. Failure felt like a complete betrayal of my identity. I tell you this story to talk about identity and resilience. I wish someone had sat me down a long time ago before ever reaching that point and said, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to win all the time. You don't need to be successful at everything that you try. You're a person, not a trophy case of accolades. You're worthwhile because you are smart and caring and funny, and you love dogs, and that's enough. Challenge yourself to cultivate a sense of identity based on your values, your passions, and talents, rather than your job title, your achievements, relationship status, or your winning record. You will go through periods in your life where external circumstances outside of your control will change. And in those moments of challenge, you want to ask yourself, how will I rise to this occasion? Rather than, who am I? It's also important to remember that antithesis and contradiction exist in the world, and they can exist in you too, and it can be okay. You can be a high achiever, and you can fail at something. You can be successful and fail at something. It's okay for both to be true at the same time, and you don't have to call into question your entire identity at the first time of struggle. My story doesn't end where I left it. As I faced the challenge of repeating the hardest academic year of my life, I continued to grapple with the question of my identity on a daily basis. And eventually I decided that I was going to cultivate an identity as someone who can do unthinkable challenges back to back. So as I went back and repeated my first year of medical school, I also decided to train to run a 50-mile race, mostly because I lack creativity. And that was kind of the only literal application I could find. The act of training week after week helped remind me that resilience is not a one-time thing. It's not where you fall and pick yourself up and dust yourself off and then everything is okay. It's a process. It involves making the choice to show up and do the hard work day after day, not just once after a setback. In April of that year, my first year of medical school, I completed my running ultramarathon, and a month later, I completed my academic ultramarathon. And in the process, I learned a lot about resilience and a lot about myself. Resilience isn't pretty. Failure and struggle are an absolute prerequisite to resilience. You don't become resilient by working hard and being successful on the first go-around. You aren't resilient for overcoming that B+. That's what my 12th grade self needed to know. This is a sword that can only be forged in the dumpster fire of failure. There's a really strange paradox today about grit and resilience. They've become these hot buzzwords, these qualities that we want all of our students and young folks to have. Colleges and employers want students and workers who are resilient. But we also live in a society where failure and redirection aren't celebrated or discussed openly. In fact, the world as we see it through the lens of the media is curated to appear just so, and it's basically stripped clean of any sign of struggle. Even as we say that we value resilience, struggle and failure still aren't shown as part of the conscious narrative because it's cringy and uncomfortable to watch. This makes it really isolating and confusing when it happens, and it keeps people from owning their stories and turning failure into triumph. I hope that me talking about it today gives you the courage to talk about it when it happens to you. It's vulnerable and uncomfortable to talk about, but when you do, you make it okay for others to go through hard times and fail and be okay. So today, while we are here celebrating this very collective success publicly, I want to take pause and be deliberate in saying this. At some point in the future, you will fail. You might not know how to handle it. Maybe there will be big consequences. It might feel like your world is crumbling, and it will be okay. And just a word of advice, the sooner the better. The longer you wait, the harder it gets. So start early. We are lucky because we're not done growing when we graduate high school. Some of your most formative years are still ahead of you. You're about to embark on journeys that change you in ways that you never even thought possible. But remember, your growth will be directly proportional to the stimulus. That is to say, the most potential for growth lies outside your comfort zone. You're going to develop strengths and talents you didn't even know exist within you. Hobbies you've never heard of, characteristics that you've never put much thought into, habits that are just an idea right now. When you do this, be open to failure and look hard for the lessons that it's trying to teach you. Be intentional about cultivating your identity and your resilience. Be brave in picking a path that won't be easy, but will bring you opportunities for growth. And above all else, learn to embrace the growing pains. Thank you.
Wow. Thanks, SA. If you give me $20 to the annual fund, I'll take care of that religion credit. The text exchanges really did kind of go like that. I had never met SA, so what a remarkable talk you gave, and it fit everything I had imagined it would. For you, the class of 23, given all that you've been through. I had no idea about that personal story. I couldn't run 50 yards, let alone 50 miles, SA, and getting through 1 year of medical school rather than 2 seems overwhelming. So that was incredible. Thank you so much. And now for the announcement of prizes, I'd like to ask Dean of Faculty Corey Fogg to come forward.
Good morning, Williston. SA, we are deeply grateful, as has been said, but I'll reiterate, to have you with us today as we celebrate the ambitious and talented class of 2023. Your sentiments this morning and the wisdom shared of a life of integrity and purpose will resonate with our community long after our ceremony today concludes. I am always stirred, as an educator, by schools' selections for graduation speakers. In this liminal moment of one's academic life, we have a final opportunity to remind you, the graduating class, of a passionate life well lived and of all the potential that lies before you. Take punctiliously from SA's words and from her noble pursuit and embrace a calling beyond the ordinary. As a proud Williston alumnus, SA, you have led a life of service and scholarship, using your gifts for nation and calling. Thank you again for celebrating with us. We delight this morning in a transitional moment of celebration and recognition. The class of 2023 has led us with enthusiasm, curiosity, joy, inquiry, and love. The heart of our campus beats with the spirit of our students, and the class of 2023 moves to a rhythm that we can all follow. Over the last months of school, Williston students have shared passions and talents broadly and innovatively with our school community and beyond. Rejoicing in the culminating endeavors of Williston students has included student-centered showcases from our Williston scholars, dialogue that cultivated belonging on Why Not Speak Day, performances by our actors, dancers, and singers, a gallery of work from our artists, senior day for our athletes, and a genuine return to joy on this campus. It gives me great pleasure to now share with you the most notable of our student accomplishments and to recognize overall distinction in the class of 2023. On Thursday afternoon, we held Athletic Awards Assembly to celebrate another incredible year of success for Williston's athletic teams. The athletic department presents the Senior Award, the Blanket Award, to honor exceptional participation in the Williston athletic program. Seniors who have been at Williston for more than 1 year are eligible to receive this award if they missed only one season, not including their senior year. 24 seniors were presented with the Blanket Award on Thursday. I ask that they all stand now to be recognized. I would also like to acknowledge the senior recipients of our top 4 athletic awards and ask those individuals to stand now to be recognized as well. The George Denman Bowl for boys and the Alumni Bowl for girls are awarded to seniors whose contribution to the athletic program has been characterized by exceptional achievement, faithful participation, and loyal devotion to the best interest of the school. This year, the George Denman Award was given to Félix Antoine Bouchat. This year, the Alumni Bowl Award was given to Emily Crovo. The Athletic Leadership Awards are presented to seniors who have distinguished themselves in terms of the quality of leadership they have demonstrated as student athletes. The recipients exemplify what it means to be an outstanding teammate, competitor, and representative of the school. Their selfless leadership, sportsmanship, and integrity have provided inspiration to their coaches and their teammates throughout their time at Williston. This year, the Athletic Leadership Awards were given to Luke Ballard and Louisa Coughlin. Yesterday afternoon, we held our academic awards ceremony, which celebrated outstanding academic achievement for the year. There were over 100 different students who received prizes for their academic accomplishments in upper school classes during the year. At this time, I ask that all the recipients of course awards and prizes stand to be recognized for their achievement. We also recognized overall excellence at each grade level. And I'd like to highlight the winners of each of the prizes and ask them to stand, and we can applaud them together as a group at the end. For the 9th grade, there are 3 prizes. Ha-An Ming Kwan was the recipient of the Head of School Prize. Brandon Guo, the recipient of the Yale Prize, and Zola Pekarski was the recipient of the Bowdoin Prize. For the 10th grade, there are 3 prizes. Alyssa Matriciani was the recipient of the Head of School Prize. Isabel Baxter Paris was the recipient of the Smith College Prize, and Jack Berrien was the recipient of the Williams College Prize. For the 11th grade, there are 4 prizes. Caroline Ufero was the recipient of the Head of School Prize. Catherine Spence was the recipient of the Lincoln Grannis Prize. Soleil Richardson was the recipient of the Dartmouth Prize, and Emily Hammond was the recipient of the Harvard Prize. Before presenting the senior class prizes and awards, I am pleased to make announcements about the Williston Scholars Program. This year, we offered 7 courses within our Williston Scholars Program, and there are 10 seniors who will be recognized at this time for their exemplary work. As I read the names of the seniors, I ask that they come forward to receive their certificates from the director of the Williston Scholars Program, Chris Policia. For work in the History and Global Studies Department, Hannah Naughton and Peter Wing. work in the Visual Arts Department, Erin Chidalapoli, Siga Pui, and Hannah Naughton. Good job. For work in the Performing Arts Department, Lauren Yee. For work in the Science Department, Cece Yu. For work in the Math Department, Mason Mish. For work in the Language Department, Hannah Naughton and Jenna Gugliani. The following are senior prizes awarded each year at commencement, as voted by the full faculty and presented by the head of school, Robert Hill. The Henry Teller Prize, in memory of a history teacher and choral conductor, 1947 to 1983, is awarded to the person in the Williston, Northampton community who by active example encourages intercultural understanding and goodwill. This year, the prize is given to Tu Tiu. The Tara Michelle Katzner Prize Memorial is awarded annually to that student who best exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, determination, and dedication. This year, the prize is given to Hira Asgar. The Henry E. Dene Jr. Class of 1959 award is given to a senior who has manifested a love of the natural world and who has taken an active interest in the protection and preservation of the world's environmental resources. This year, the prize is given to Ava Smith. The Westcott E.S. Mouton Award, honoring a member of the class of 1927 and the Williston Alumni Secretary, 1961 to 1973, is presented to that member of the senior class who has shown a high degree of effort in their publications, sportsmanship, leadership, and community involvement, leading to continued loyalty and interest as an alumna or alumnus. This year, the award is given to Alexis Keynes. The Tim Wallace Class of 1962 Prize, honoring a member of the class of 1962, was established in memory of an English-speaking Union Exchange student at Williston. The prize is given at commencement to that senior who gets much from the school because they put much in. This year, the prize is given to Pearson Squires. The Class of 1942 prize is awarded in recognition of outstanding service to the school. This year, the prize is given to Will Chalfant. The George H. Higgins Prize is given to that student in the graduating class who has displayed outstanding character in school life. This year, the prize is given to Emily Crovo. The Catherine M. Ockenden Class of 1949 Prize, honoring a member of the class of 1949, is given to a senior who, in the opinion of the faculty, has contributed to moral, positive leadership. This year, the prize is given to Siga Pui. The L.G. Treadway Citizenship Prize, established by Richard Treadway, class of 1932, in honor of his father, is awarded to a senior who has been at the school for at least 2 years, who has maintained a strong scholastic standing, and who has given promise of future achievement. The chief qualities to be considered for this award are personal integrity and contributions made to best the citizenship of the school. This year, the prize is awarded to Elsa Frankel. The The Joseph Sawyer Memorial Prize, honoring the 7th headmaster of Williston Seminary, 1886 to 1919, is awarded to a senior who has made outstanding contributions to the intellectual and community life of the school. This year, the prize is awarded to Maxwell Graff. The Dorothy Bement Prize, honoring a co-founder of the Northampton School for Girls, is given to a senior who has exhibited excellence in academic endeavors and in contributions to citizenship and the overall life of the school. This year, the prize is awarded to Louisa Coughlin. We now come to the final 3 prizes, which carry the greatest distinction. The first 2 being awarded to the outstanding students in the senior class, the third honoring the first scholar in the class. The Archibald V. Gilbraith Prize, honoring the 8th headmaster of Williston Academy, 1919 to 1949, is awarded to that senior who in academics, athletics, and citizenship is exemplary, representing that which is best in the school. The Gilbraith Prize is awarded this year to Luke Ballard. The Sarah B. Whitaker Prize, honoring a co-founder of the Northampton School for Girls and co-principal, 1924 to 1962, is also known as the White Blazer Award. The White Blazer is given to a senior who has made the greatest contributions to the academic, athletic, and community life of the school, while exhibiting exemplary leadership and integrity. The White Blazer is awarded this year to Catherine King. The Valedictory Prize is awarded to the first scholar of the class. It is a combination of 2 awards from an era in the school's history when the Edmund H. Sawyer Prize was given for the work in the classical curriculum, and the Horatio G. Knight Prize was given for work in the scientific curriculum. These prizes are now combined into one. It honors the student who, by record of performance during the school year, is judged by the faculty to be preeminent in academic achievement. This year, the recipient of the Valedictory Prize is Louisa Coughlin. On behalf of the faculty and staff, congratulations and best wishes to the class of 2023. We will miss you. Remember that you always have a home away from home here at Williston. To present the awards for students inducted into the Cum Laude Society is Ms. Beatrice Cody, President. Ms. Susan Michalski, Vice President, and Mr. Thomas Johnson, Secretary.
Good morning. We gather this morning to honor 14 seniors whom we will induct into the Cum Laude Society, the highest academic award that the Williston Northampton School faculty can bestow. In celebrating such academic excellence, we celebrate our fundamental mission to inspire students to live, more than that, to inspire students to live, I lost my place. With scholarly purpose, intellectual passion, and personal integrity. The Cum Laude Society is a national honor society modeled on Phi Beta Kappa. Williston Academy joined the society in 1921. The Northampton School for Girls received its charter in 1951. And in 1971, the society granted the merged Williston Northampton School a new charter. All of us gathered here can take inspiration from the three ancient Greek words that form the motto of cum laude. Arete, meaning excellence, dike, meaning justice, and time, meaning honor. Excellence, justice, and honor can characterize the life each of us chooses to lead, and the faculty applaud everyone here who strives to live a life so inspired. Moreover, we thank your families. We hope that they will enjoy today as a reflection of their influence upon your lives. Please remember to thank all of those people who have helped you grow your roots and your wings. As we nurture your curiosity and persistence in the search for truth, beauty, and justice, you have taught us much about language and art, about math and science, about history and philosophy and faith, and above all, about a love of learning. Because we live in uncertain times, your effort matters. You remind us that learning remains a fundamentally progressive, optimistic, and democratic enterprise. In you, we witness what can be accomplished by a wonderful mixture of human potential and hard work, and we catch a glimpse of a brighter future. May you embrace the opportunity to improve an ever-changing world. First, students inducted into the Cum Laude Society this past January will come forward as their name is called. Please line up on the grass in front of the stage to my right. Philippa Berry. Connor Capshaw. Daniel Seajet. Avery Kramer. Louisa Coughlin. Emmanuel Damianakis. Ketchel Gibbons. Max Graff. Jinsuk Jun Huang. Catherine Kang. Sotaro Wakabayashi. Lauren Yi. Now we will welcome the new inductees to the stage. As I call your name, please come forward to receive your membership pin and certificate from Cum Laude Chapter President Beatrice Cody and Vice President Sue Michalski, then line up in front of the stage. Felix Antoine Bouchard. Charlotte Carr. Austin Conroy. Ava DeCoste. Francesco Grumo. Mason Mish. Alexandra Paez. Hannah Roche. Amara Rosario. Atticus Rudolph. Adam Schatz. Ava Smith. Gray Vashon. Sifu CCU. Please turn and face the stage for your formal induction. Beatrice Cody, President of the Williston Northampton chapter of the Cum Laude Society, will read the charge.
Your exemplary record in academics and citizenship has earned for you membership in the Cum Laude Society, a fellowship of scholars whose purpose is to recognize and promote excellence in academic work. It is our hope that you will accept the honor of membership as a responsibility to strive for similar excellence in all future endeavors, and to contribute to finding solutions to the major challenges that are facing your generation. On behalf of the faculty, I want to thank you for your consistently strong interest and effort. Your commitment to the highest level of academic work has inspired your classmates and your teachers. By the authority duly granted me as president, it is with great pride and pleasure that I welcome you into the Williston Northampton chapter of the Cum Laude Society. Congratulations. You may be seated.
It's a tradition at Williston that the senior class elects whom they want to come forward and give a speech at this event. So they did that, and you already heard that the faculty selected Luke Ballard to win the Galbraith Award, which is a true distinction. So in a moment of incredible synergy, Luke, come on up, and the faculty agrees with your class. Come on up and give the address.
Hello and good morning. My name is Luke Ballard, and I'm a four-year senior here at the Williston Northampton School. I am extremely excited to have been chosen by my classmates to stand up here on this monumental day. It's amazing to see all these smiling faces, those familiar and new, parents coming from all different countries and many different states. We are proud and pumped to welcome you to our home, the Williston Northampton School. This experience still sits surreal to me, this being a dream I've had since I was a freshman, and now through these past 4 years, I've gathered the confidence to stand before you today and give my parting words to the class of 23 before we move on to whatever life holds in store for us next. Looking back to 4 years ago today, I was still a student at Belchertown High School with no intention of ever leaving and not even having a thought about a school like Williston. However, the Luke you see before you today was unfortunately not the Luke that existed all those years ago. I was not what you would call an honor roll student. I didn't really care much for school, and to be quite honest, school was more of a side hobby for me. I was a shy and reserved kid who never put myself out there and held my true self back from everybody. I didn't know who I was, but I had bits and pieces of who I thought I wanted to be and who I thought others wanted me to be. The first time I became fully aware of what I had become was when I decided to reach out to Williston and had my first interview with Mr. Dietrich. He sat me down after my tour, and after a couple of those filler questions he asked, "So who are you, and what do you like to do?" And being the kid I was, I blankly stared at him, thought about it, and said, "I play soccer, I play lacrosse because I think it looks cool, and that's about it." And he sat there for, I think, 30 seconds, waiting for me to say more, wanting me to say more, but I just stared him directly in the eyes, and that is all I said. So, as I'm sitting there, I'm like, is this really who I am? Is this all I can be as a surface level athlete? Is that all I can live up to be? And on that car ride back is when I knew I had to make a change for the better, to be better. I think I spent most of my early years acting this way simply because I wanted to fit in and be accepted. And although I wasn't truly happy with who I was happy to be accepted by a group and a friend group that I thought were my friends. 5 years ago today, I couldn't be the wildest guy I was, backed by my best friends and the Dean of Fun, Miss Davy, going up to sing "You Belong With Me" at Assembly or participating in the all-school senior fishbowl. So when I came to Williston for my second freshman year in 2019, I was truly happy for the first time in a long time. For me, the class of 23, even though I had just met you all at Camp Beckett, playing tag in the baseball field and canoeing across the lake, you all were my first real family that I truly felt safe around. To feel like I didn't have to constrain myself was a feeling of freedom I had never been able to feel before Williston. And although I didn't show it, or at least tried not to show it, it meant the absolute most to me to be surrounded by people who cared for me and let me be me. Something I'll never forget is a photo taken at Camp Beckett. It was a small group photo. The second we stepped off the bus, I was covered in sweat, nervous, shaking, like I am right now. And it was a group photo, I'll never forget this, of Joe Easton, Jack Kasha, Owen Dietrich, Izzy Ireland, Chloe Lewis, and Will Chalfont. Although I had just met them not only probably 30 minutes ago, I felt a real sense of security. And for the first time in a long time, I had a photo of me with a real smile. It meant the most to me to be able to smile like that and finally be able to be myself, having fun doing what I like to do. And that eventually evolved into weekend events with the Wildest Cats and sending out the newest edition of Luke's Latest. And yes, not one email went out after 7:46 a.m. You're welcome. This sense of safety, being something I'd never experienced before Williston, is something I will forever be grateful for, along with many other things. I'm grateful to be welcomed so kindly every day and grateful to be accepted in the way I was by the class of 2023. To me, this is a part of what makes Williston and the class of 23 so special. Being greeted every morning with a smile from the faculty and teachers and to see our friends walking by the class. Whether it's Miss Motika greeting us on the schoolhouse steps, JT giving me a sassy remark at the cage, or seeing Francesco Grumo in his purple glasses, jean shorts, and neon yellow shirt with a massive smile, it's a privilege to come to school every day with a smile on our faces and to see a smile on everybody else's faces. And that's what makes us a family. These shared experiences of contentness and gratitude, the countless number of classmates, peers, and faculty who go out of our way to make their days better. And of course, the students, especially the class of 23, go out of their way. When we packed the CAC to watch varsity basketball take down Trinity Pawling in dominant fashion, leaving us no doubt we would be moving on in the knapsack tournament, or to watch girls hockey take on rival Loomis Chaffee on the road to an undefeated season, that was a true testament to what the class of 23 does. And we did it all during our final assessment week. And juniors, sophomores, freshmen, you have my love next week at assessment week. I'm sure you'll have a blast. Not me. Seeing the entire class at the SpongeBob musical in the winter and Elephant Man in the fall is a true testament to the commitment and unwavering support that the class of 23 brought to Williston through these past 4 years. And believe it or not, as I'm sure many of you have heard a million times, this is our first normal year of high school. Freshman year, we started off strong, but by spring break, we were told via email by Mr. Hill that the break would be extended and we would not have to report back to campus until April 13th. To any normal student, this seemed like a blessing in disguise. Who wouldn't want an extended spring break? After all, according to Mr. Cainlong, in my last in-person physics class, he said, "Don't worry, it'll all pass within 2 weeks, you'll get over it, and you'll be fine." However, it clearly was not fine, and we were not back within 2 weeks, and we were thrown into an entirely new world of online schooling and isolation. Returning to campus for our sophomore year for the first time in 7 months, we were surrounded by plexiglass dividers and everyone wearing masks. Most of us not even knowing what our classmates looked like without a mask on. Because of this, we truly missed out on what the Williston experience is. Even junior year, we still tested often, and believe it or not, this time last year, we were wearing masks to ensure that the class of 2022 could graduate in person. The Williston experience is truly unlike any other. Canoe races on the pond, lip sync battles down to the wire. We are truly privileged to be able to experience these things. And as we close out our senior year, our first normal, undisrupted year, we get the chance to look back. Look back on the fact that we missed 2 graduations, entire sports seasons, Willie Gras and Willie Olympics, time well spent with friends, playoff games and plays. Because that is what made this year so special and such a success. We were so grateful to finally be able to return to normal that we took nothing for granted and made the most out of what limited time we had. While it feels like it's too soon, like we didn't get the time we deserved, it's time to move on to the next step in our lives. And as we disperse and go our separate ways, we'll all carry a piece of Williston with us, always reminding us of the time we had. But just like all good things, it must come to an end, and that end is today. Some of us have been waiting for 6 years, some of us 4, and some of us only 1. And as I have been reflecting on my time at Williston, I have been able to look at my biggest takeaway from the high school experience. Being able to surround myself with people who enable me to be me in my truest self. Teaching me how to be a role model for younger kids, the faculty kids that roam around campus, because all those years ago, when I was in middle school and elementary school, I looked up to the big kids who walked through my halls for graduation, and now that gets to be us. We were only able to experience this because of the kindness Williston showed us all those years ago when they first enrolled us. Williston believed in me in a time when I felt like nobody else did, and they took a leap of faith with me, as we did together. They didn't have to do this, but they did do it, and they saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself, and something that I felt like others around me didn't see either. Being given a second chance has entirely changed my perspective on everything, people, experiences, and much more. Being given such a large second chance, a gift out of kindness, it led me to seeing the good in people, that everybody deserves a second chance because no one is perfect, and nobody will ever be. I am forever grateful for what Williston was able to give us and for what it will continue to give us as we move on with our lives. However, before I go, I can not only be grateful for Williston, but for a certain woman that works in the homestead. Most of you know her as Miss Ballard, whether that's from Thank a Wildcat Day, Founders Day Week, or even the squash courts, but I know her as Mom. My mother is the reason this entire journey was able to start, and it seems fitting that she gets to close it out. So thank you, Mom, for the young man you have helped me become, and for guiding me on this long and uncertain journey. And to you, the greatest senior class of all time, thank you for taking me on the ride of a lifetime. Your spirit and ability to conquer adversity is a true sign of resilience and Williston character. And with that being said, to you, the class of 2023, remember, it's always a great day to be a Wildcat. Thank you for your time, and I couldn't have wanted it any other way. Let's get out of the cameras.
Luke, you just knocked that one out of the park, my friend. That was an awesome talk. Thank you so much. And for those of you who don't know, Miss Ballard works upstairs in the advancement office, and I think we owe your mom a shout out for putting together a playlist of all the songs that came up every day from your Luke's Latest, which is the student-generated announcement that comes out every morning, and that was Luke this year, so it was fantastic. All right, now the moment everybody's been waiting for. I'm going to ask Ms. Poland, who's the Dean of Academics at the school, and John Hazen White Jr., Chair of the Board, to join me, and we will begin the presentation of diplomas.
All right, here we go. Ademidire, Iman, Taiwo, Adiosan. Ademidore, Inam, Kende, Adiosan. Gavin Ackroyd. Jason Rue Allegria. Sergio Guillermo Argueta. Hira Asgar. Jordan Christopher Atis. Giris Aruskevicius. Diploma to be presented by his parents. Luke Swain Ballard. Diploma to be presented by his trustee parents. Sorry about that. Benjamin Mitchell Barth. Diploma to be presented by her parents. We got a traffic jam. Lydia Berghoff. Philippa Jane Berry. Felix Antoine Bouchard. Caleb J. Boyko. Avery Ella Brooks. John R. Bradbury III. Ugo Lionel Bundy. Alexis Keynes. Miranda M. Calderon. Alexander Avery Calianos. Connor Joseph Capshaw. Benjamin William Carlin. Charlotte Rose Carr. Eric Harrison Carter. William John Chalfant. Michael Lyndon Charles Jr. Macy Coyle Chase. Daniel Sejek. Brady Christopher Clark. Jaden Clairvaux. Campbell Sophia Collins. Cooper Paul Conlon. Austin Weddendorf Conroy. Jack Sullivan Kasha. Louisa Maeve Coughlin. Avery Shea Kramer. Emily Jane Crovo. Manuel Damianakis. Ava Kate DeCoste. Jabari Joel Dakota. Braden Robert Deschamps. Dominic Michael DiFilippo. Diploma to be presented by his parent, Owen Dietrich. Joseph G. Easton. Sophie Marie Edmonds. Samuel T. Faulkner. Nicolas Fonseca. Samuel Andrews Fortier. Henry Rock Foster. Noah Jared Fox. Elsa Frankel. Max Casey Fujimori. Perry Gaudreau. Getchell Jackson Gibbons. Cameron Gillis. Elizabeth Alina Glues. Diploma to be presented by his parent, Elias Francis Goldberg Cook. Nicholas Gomes Raposa. John Gonglick. Manuel Gonzalez Hudson. Carly Blake Goodman. Mia Abigail Grady. Diploma to be presented by his parents, Maxwell Cody Graff. Hey, Max. Sorry, we'll get it later. There it is. There it is. All right, Caden Green. Francesco Grumo. Jenna Alice Guglielmi. Dyson Holland. Alexander L. Hallwit. Thomas J. Hennigan. Alexander Hyota Hershon. Junsuk Huang. Paul Ibolito. Isabel Rose Ireland. Amaya James. Connor William Jenkins. Annika M. Jensen. Journey Madison Jones. Lily Catherine Kane. Catherine Sophia Kang. Bibi Hakeem Karamoko. Daniel William Keegan. Nathan Kerr. Jae Min Kim. Tyler Kirk. Noah Quaistra. Tate Francis Custer. Gianluca Tommaso Lanzilli. Lucy Pepimetsolu Latham. Chefu Suryaga Lee. Paris Mason Lennon. Tianyu Mai. Felix Marois. Quinn Michael McDonald. Ian Hamilton Miller. Orion Minton. Diploma to be presented by his parents. Mason Martin Mish. Jack Mullen Morrison. Hannah Margareta Naughton. Bak Yui Wen. Bo Richard James O'Byrne. John Thomas Ogletree. Christopher Garrett Ondrick. Alexandra Odulino Paez. Joseph Brian Pelota. Siga Marie Hui. Jermaine Nicholas Poiser. Nolan Daniel Puglisi. Connor Queenan. Drew Renzella. Diploma to be presented by her parents. Hannah Roche. Amara Rosario. Atticus Rudolph. Javier Samayoa Menendez. Greta McTeer Sachs. Salvatore Charles Soretto IV. Adam Isaac Schatz. Yaning Shi. Coralie Margareta Siegel. Ava Rose Figlozzi Smith. Pearson Michelle Squires. Jacob St. Marie. Thomas James Sullivan. Inigo Sestasha. Charles Gunnar Tebow. Wei Tu Nak Tio. Chance Dixon Thorne Begland. Kristen Nicole Tremblay. Gray Michael Vachon. Riley Scott Vanson. Sotaro Wakabayashi. Muyang Peter Wang. Chase J. Webster. Caitlin O. Williams. Michael Jack Williamson. Jack Wise. Alex Clayton Walter. Kanyangzi Shu. Lauren Yee. Annika Young. Sifu Cece Yu. Andrew Yu Huang. Samantha Eunice. Daniel Seng. Yuming Zhao.
All I can say is it's a good thing that we have an orthopedic surgeon right behind me. I'll now ask Chair of the Board, John Hazen White Jr., to come up and make these things official for y'all.
It's really, it's such a special day, and to look at all of you and just think about what you have ahead is just marvelous. And to look back at the last 4 years and to think that a lot of this group came through this train wreck called COVID. And as I look back, I think about what you did for what your peers and yourself all around the world actually did for this world, was to prove that we could, this group of people, get through anything. And so I've always considered your group to be heroic in your own way. It's been a wonderful thing to watch. So to get here today is truly special. And you know, what I've said before, and what I believe so strongly is that, you know, this is a special day for you. It's also a special day for those that have been behind you, who've thought about you every day, who've worried, but who've enjoyed, and who are now so proud. So all of us together, all of us, faculty, administration, people that take part in anything going on here, we all have one thing in common. We have a thread that runs through all of us, and that's Williston. And as you move forward, as you succeed and fail, as you win and lose, as you take part in new things, life deals strange cards sometimes to all of us. But you know, no matter what they are, where you go, what you do, who you're with, what you want and what you don't want, in the end, you always will know that we are one. Williston is one. And I hope, as you move forward, that in time you will come to love this school as much as I have. And that as you look back, it will have meant to you what it's meant to me. And you now mean so much to me. I love each and every one of you, parents, students, faculty, staff. I love all of you with all my heart and soul. God bless each and every one of you as you move forward. So, the only time I ever read a word in front of people, I have to read here, because I cannot memorize this. But it's really important, because without it, we'll be here all day. By the power vested in me, it is my great pleasure to hereby declare the class of 2023 to be graduates of the Williston Northampton School, with all the rights and responsibilities appertaining thereto. Congratulations.
I would like to ask Mr. Scott Halligan, Director of Choir, to lead us in singing the Alma Mater.
Thank you. Please rise and join us in singing the Alma Mater, O Williston. Lyrics can be found on the back of your program.
My closing remarks are listed, but will be very brief. You've heard a lot today, a lot of really important words and some great comments from every speaker up here. And there's a tradition at Williston that begins the year with the ringing of the Angelus and ends the year with the ringing of the Angelus. We're going to do that again today, and I'll tell you about that. Just a couple of logistical announcements. The faculty will recess out, and we are going to take our spots along the horseshoe, and the students, the seniors, will get a chance to do the handshake line there. All others will have box lunches available, and please enjoy those. This is really a remarkable moment. This is one of the largest classes in the history of the school, and it's an incredibly talented group of people. And I want to close with the ringing of the Angelus and call for a moment of silent reflection. The Angelus was presented to the Northampton School by the Student Council in 1952. Some say it became the heart of the Northampton School for Girls campus. The Angelus is a bell which is inscribed for quiet thought. I think it was rung last night, not so quietly, pretty early. It was sounded every afternoon, at which time students and teachers paused for a minute of silent reflection. Maria Bergie Dwight Levacante, class of 1952, former trustee of the school, said at its dedication that the ringing of the Angelus was a call, quote, to remind us of the necessity of thought. There is so much to think about in that brief minute of our own, end quote. Now it's permanently installed in the lawn by Wold House and has become a tradition, as I said, to start and finish the year with it. So as we sound the Angelus, I invite you to join me in a few moments of quiet thought on this auspicious day for the class of 2023, this Memorial Day weekend, and this day that marks the end of quite a 4-year journey for this whole school and indeed the world. So we'll have the Angelus rung and have a moment of reflection. This concludes this marvelous ceremony. Congratulations, 23. Godspeed.
Starting to go downhill, man. Like another year.